Hello guys, today we're going to be working on this Maytag Bravos top load washer. The model number it's on the display.
Welcome to DIY Repair Now. Read all the warnings, and during this video you will see one or more of these icons to help you do this repair safe.
The complaint that we have with this washer is that it's making some banging noises while it's on the spin cycle. So the first thing we're going to do is push the drum down, and if this drum bounces more than once, that means the shocks needs to be replaced. However, it might not do the banging noises because there's no clothes in the tub, and it only does it when wet clothes is inside the tub. Now I'm going to show you how to run a test mode. If you already know how to run a test mode and you're sure you need to replace the shocks, just forward the video to minute 7, and that's where the shocks replacement begins. And now I'm going to go ahead and leave you with the original audio to run a test mode.
To put it on test mode, you're going to go 360 degrees all the way to 9 o'clock. Then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, one back, one forward, and then all the lights are going to turn on. Then you're going to go 1, 2, 3 to go to manual mode. 1, 2, 3, one back, one forward. Okay? 1, 2, 3, one back, one forward. See, all the lights are on. Now, this, if you press play, is going to give you flashing lights here that is going to tell you an error code. The second one is to put it on automatic test mode. So it's going to do an automatic test mode by itself. It's going to fill in water, it's going to do agitation, it's going to drain, and it's going to do a little bit of spin. Now I don't like to use that test mode because it only does a little bit of the test. It doesn't do the whole spin or the whole agitation, it just do a little bit. So I would like to go to a manual mode, so I will go to third. Remember, after you get all the lights on, you got to go 1, 2, 3 and then press start. If all the lights are off, that means you're already in manual test mode. Now if you press play, it's going to go to the first test, which is the lid lock. As you see, it already locked the door. Now for you to do the spin test and the agitation test, the door have to be locked. If you're going to do the test for the drain pump or water coming in, it does not. So we already got the door locked. If we go here, that's the cold, that's the hot. If it flashes like that 3 times, that means it's nothing. 1, 2, 3, nothing. That's another valve test. This is nothing. Now this next one is drain, but I don't have the drain hose on, so I'm not going to turn it on. I'm just going to show you that that's what it is. As you can hear, it was about to start draining. Flash 3 times, nothing. And over here is going to go to a spin mode. This is low spin, this is high spin, and this is low agitation, this is high agitation. Now I don't do the high spin and the low spin and the high spin first because you have to wait until the drum stops to be able to unlock the door. So let's do the agitation. As you see, that's high agitation. This is low agitation. This is high spin, this is low spin. So let's do high spin. You're gonna hear some clicking noises on the bottom. And you can see how the drums kind of spins. I mean, it doesn't have any clothes right now, so it's not gonna go crazy, but you get the idea. It is kind of shaky. And then whenever you finish doing all the tests, we'll start Now finished. Now we'll go low agitation, high agitation, and this is the door lock. Or you can just press this for 3 seconds in any setting. Hover, press down for 3 seconds. You're gonna hear a click in the board, and now when the drum stops, this light is gonna go off and it's gonna unlock the door. This is a safety issue. That way you don't put your hand while it's spinning. So basically, even if you already cancel everything, all the test mode, you cancel any setting after you press this for it says 3 seconds, but it's really like 5 seconds. After you press this for 5 seconds, it cancels everything. But if this drum is still spinning, this door is going to be locked to prevent from breaking your armor. Basically a safety issue. The drum stops, this is going to unlock. You can see how it's wobbling.
Okay, like I say at the beginning of the video, to find out if the shocks needs to be replaced, you have to push the drum down like so, and if it bounces more than once, that means the shocks needs to be replaced. However, 90% of the time you will feel like the shocks are still good because you will still have tension, but really if it bounces more than one, even if it's just a little bit, they need to be replaced. Now we're going to go ahead and remove these 3 screws in the back to be able to lift the top panel and have access to the shocks. Now keep in mind, you have to put some tape on this lid, because otherwise if you don't put tape, it might bounce on you when you lift the top panel off, and most likely that's exactly what's going to happen. These are 1/4 screws, so just use a drill bit and or a screwdriver. Now this piece of metal will go in this slot right there when you lift the top panel to prevent from moving back and forth. You will see what I'm talking about when I lift the top panel. This is a cover. They also has a 1/4 screws. That cover protects the tubing and the electrical wiring.
Now after we remove this cover and the 2 screws, now we can pull this towards you the way I'm grabbing. Now you're gonna go like 3/8 up, even from here up and then back. So what you're really doing is unhooking it from here and from here. Then there's another hook here. So basically, let me go again. That's how it sits. You're gonna go towards you, a little bit up until it reaches up, then back. Now you can lift. Because as you see, besides these 2 hooks, there's another hook that goes here and here and here and here. Now this was the tape for. If you don't have this panel, you go here, it's just gonna slam back at you.
This is what I was telling you before, that this piece will go inside, that way it doesn't move front or back, or it will go out of slack while you're doing the repair. So make sure this is secured like so.
Now I can test this even better. You see, yeah, it bounces too much. New shocks. Is the part number W11300362. Here. See? Now, my recommendation would be use gloves, because all these are sharp edges and it can really cut your hand. Now I'm gonna use this tool to be able to remove this. If you want one of these tools, go ahead and leave me a comment. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab the rod and lift up. Never put your finger right in front of the rod. You should always put this down. Go like this, and we'll come right out. Always put this away from this because they can get mixed up. To be able to remove this, you're gonna use a flat head. You're gonna bend this, and that way it comes out. Be careful when you put your finger underneath, because like I said, this is very sharp. I cut my fingers many times when I was doing this. That's why now I bend this over. That way it comes out easy. Another trick that I use is put something underneath of the washer to make this lift up. That's another trick. To put this like right where the motor is. So, as you see, it lifts this part up. So it's gonna be easier for you to pull this out. This tool is basically to do the reinstallation. It might help you. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and install the tool on the front first. Now that I think about it, you can either do it from underneath and get it out. As you see, you can do it from here. And you put the other one back in there. That's the new one.
Okay, as you can see, I did the one on the left and I went underneath the washer. Now this is the one on the right, and in this model you can do it from the bottom and you can do it from the top. Now it's a little difficult to do it from the top, but it's very convenient when you have very limited space. As you can see, it has a kind of slack right there where the shocks can come out on the side like so. So this is the old one, but as you can see, it has like a ring, so you have to kind of put it in place. If you don't have access to tilt the washer, you have to do all this without looking, because you only have space to put your hand inside, but you don't have space to look what you're doing. So all that you have to do it without noticing what is going on inside. So you're gonna see how I do it. As you can see, I'm putting the shock through the top. I don't have to go underneath because I have the slack right there like I told you before. So I'm trying to put it on the side to make it go in the hole, but you have to see how it's done because it has a ring that goes underneath. That ring cannot be on the top. So As you see, it's no way for me to see exactly what I'm doing, so everything have to be like without knowing what you're doing. Just, you know, take a peek after you got your hand out and put the plastic piece on the top. Once you see you got it right, you can use the old shocks to be able to pull it out. Always be careful with your hands. Always wear gloves. I know you don't see me wearing gloves, but I do this pretty much every day, so I know how to do it and try not to get hurt. As you can see, you can use the old shocks to be able to pull the new shocks up and do the installation, or you can use a tool like this one. I made this tool myself, but I haven't put it for sale yet. Let me know in the comments if you want one of these tools, and I see what I can do for you guys. However, like I said, you can put something underneath the tub, or you can use the old shocks to be able to pull this out if you have trouble doing the installation because of limited space. However, be careful. Try not to push your fingers or your hand on the hook, and notice how I'm doing the installation of this plastic piece. It has two spaces for the hook to go in. Try not to put in one of those little holes, because otherwise the washer is going to go off balance. Once you got it in the right position, either right or left, make sure it goes and folds in place. And also check inside where the other part of the shock is, that is installed correctly. Always go underneath the washer or move the drum on the side, the top on the side, to be able to see if everything else is installed correctly. I did this, the two in the front first, but in some other videos I do the ones on the left and then I do the ones on the right. So you can do either the ones the side or front and back, however you want, or depends on your space. I'm doing this top on the one on the left, and the same thing. Notice how you do the installation, because these new plastic pieces might be different than the ones you removed earlier. Again, don't never put your finger on the front of the hook, because if it fails or drops or slip from your hand, it can cut your finger, and you might get a chunk off your finger, and we don't want that. As you can see, the drum is still lift up. You can also do it by hand. You don't have to use the vice grips or the hook or anything like that. If you put something underneath the drum, it will make it lift up. Just use something, because sometimes it will be slippery, so clean it up with a piece of rag. And if you can do it by hand, it's fine, or you can use the vice grips again. In this case, this one was kind of slippery. It has kind of soap or oil, so I'm using the vice grip, but sometimes you can do it just with your hand. Now again, using these vice grips can be very dangerous, because if they slip, you can cut yourself on these edges. That's why I keep mentioning that you can use gloves or long sleeves shirts. So you see, you don't need to go underneath to be able to remove the ones in the back. Now this is just in some models, because in older models you need to go underneath the washer to be able to do the installation. In that case, you would have to tilt the washer to the front and do the two shocks in the back. For that scenario, you might have to disconnect the washer from the drain and the water supply, which is the two water hoses in the back, to be able to push the washer forward. Sometimes I leave the water hoses plugged in, but I try to close the water valves. If those water valves doesn't close, you can always leave them on, but just keep in mind that something goes wrong, it's going to be water all over the place. So you should look for the main water supply. Now, at the beginning of the video, I tried to use the original audio. A lot of people ask me why I don't use the original audio, and maybe at the beginning of the video, you can see and hear why I don't use the original audio sometimes, and it's because sometimes there's dogs barking in the back, customer talking to me, or my breathing. You know, keep in mind that I'm doing these repairs by myself, and I only have a GoPro attached to my forehead, so I don't have anybody to help me in this case. So the audio that I'm picking on is directly from the GoPro, and then it's not high quality. But I decided to do an over voice for the rest of the video for the convenience, for your convenience, guys. So as you see, I'm doing this last one. This tool was very easy to do them. I decided to do it from the top, but again, you might end up tilting the washer to be able to do it from underneath. Not all the washers have access to do it from the top. Okay, so at this point, I already got the shocks hooked up. I have to put the drain line back in place and do some testing.
I'm gonna get the rug out. Supervise that everything is good. We're gonna do it. Sometimes I get stuck, so just wiggle it until it comes out. When you put it down, just make sure it goes in these hooks. It goes down. And you see it's on top of this 2 hooks too. So you're gonna move towards you. Look how it's gonna drop here. See? Now if you push it back, it's gonna be grabbed by these 2 hooks right here. And now when we put these 3 screws in the back, it will prevent it from coming forward, and that's how it locks in place. Put this cover. Remember that I have to go with this 2 male to female connection. And then a screw in the other side. Now we gotta put the drain back where it was. Also, we're gonna remove the tape. Now, after we replace the shocks, we're gonna go ahead and do a calibration on the washer because it was off balance and it might stay on that air code. So we're gonna go ahead and go 1 back, 1 forward, 1 forward, 1 forward, 1 back, 1 forward. If you gotta do this again, go ahead and put it in slow motion in your phone, and you'll be able to do it. Remember, 1 back, 1 forward, 1 forward, 1 forward, 1 back, 1 forward. All the lights are going to turn on. Now we're going to go 1, 2, into it, get some rinse. Now we're going to turn the cycle into it gets to rinse, and then we're going to press start. Now it's doing a calibration. Now it's going to do her thing, and when it finishes, everything is going to turn off and it should be ready to use. and everything should be calibrated. Now what we're gonna do as the last thing is 9 o'clock, 360 degrees. 9 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, 1 back, 1 forward. All the lights on. The one we did before, it was for calibration. Now this is a test mode. We're just gonna put it in spin and make sure if it got any better. 1, 2, 3. This is the third one would be manual test mode. So when you pressed, everything should go off. That means we're in test mode. If we pressed again, we begin doing the manual test mode, which starts by locking the door. We go one more. That is hot water, cold water, or I'm thinking vice versa. I think the first one is cold water, then hot water, either one, but those are the cold and hot side tests. Now, if it flashes 3 times, that means there's no test there. If it flashes 3 times, there's no test there. Now, most of the machines does not have this. It will flash 3 times for you, but this one has a third valve, so it's testing that one as well. If it flashes 3 times, there's nothing there. And over here usually be the drain pump. Now it's getting all the water out. Now here is nothing, and here is low spin, and we're gonna put it in high spin. Is doing really good. Then we're just going to press it, hold it for 5 seconds, and when the drum stops, everything is done.
Alright guys, if this video helped you in any way, you can show us appreciation by giving us a tip using the following options that you see on the screen. If you cannot provide with a tip, is another way to support this channel by just dropping off a comment in the comment section down below. Subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the bell to receive notifications. Thanks for watching.